Hello and welcome back to the good, the bad, and the ugly series. Where today we're going to be covering England as we head into this 2026 World Cup. It's time to get right into the good, and I think for me it's very obvious: Harry Kane and Thomas Tuchel. What I believe is probably the best striker in the world, definitely the most complete striker I've ever seen in my lifetime. And in this particular tournament, I think he's actually the best manager. And those are two very good ingredients for uh for a national team to have. Yali, I know you're a very big fan of Tuchel. You have been for a very long time, and this feels almost like the perfect tournament for him, the perfect kind of competition, and almost the absolute best appointment that England could have made, considering how they fell so short with having somebody like Gareth Southgate, who was not very respected from a tactical perspective in the footballing community. So, just how important would these two figures be for England's World Cup hopes?
Yeah, I mean, if England even wants a chance to even get close to this trophy, these are the two guys that they have to put all their eggs on. Honestly, like you said, Harry Kane is the best striker in the world without a doubt. Second, one like first, second, third best player in the world, absolutely, like no doubt there. Um, like we both have him being the top scorer in the tournament. And then Thomas Tuchel, like you said, this is where this guy made his name. This is where this guy made his money, and it's in this type of tournaments. Which is, if you go back and you look at his club career, it's a Champions League and pretty much FA Cups, like DFB Pokals, all this type of knockout type of games. More than anything because of how he sets up. I feel like most teams go out there and just pick an 11, like the best 11, and they pretty much say, "If you're better than me, beat me." I feel like he's very similar to Scaloni, or Scaloni is very similar to him. I think it's better to say in that sense that these guys pretty much play and pick their teams according to the opposition, and I feel like that's what we're gonna see. If you're an England fan, don't waste your time saying this is our best 11 because your best 11 is your next 11. That's just how it is. I think that's where these guys are just it's actually insane, but they're checking like the most points that they could take home when it comes to the good. Because they have a Harry Kane who's like a guy who's like out of this world, literally out of this world. Like once again, we have him as our top scorer. And then you have Thomas Tuchel, who's like the master of this type of tournaments. And I know we'll talk about them in our next video, which is the Brazil video, which maybe there's like a Brazil fan or like a Real Madrid fan saying, "What about Ancelotti?" Sure, he's won a lot of Champions Leagues, but he's won them having the best squads, the best teams, I would say, for most of them. Tuchel, actually, it's known for exceeding in this tournament without having the best team and just by putting his tactical awareness, his tactical plans, being sort of the main star. That's why this is the good for them. This is a World Cup where if they want to succeed and go far, play all 8 games, because I think even if they don't make the final, if you play all 8 games, could be looked at as a very successful World Cup. These two guys have to be on top of their game. They have to sort of let them work, build the team around Harry Kane, and let Thomas Tuchel take whatever decision that he wants. If he wants to put the goalkeeper at right back, let him do it because he has the experience, he has won it, and just let him work and do his thing.
Yeah. I mean, I want to make sure that we emphasize the point that, Harry Kane will be our golden boot of the tournament. Want to make sure that we emphasize that. But I mean, we alluded to this in previous videos, and it's actually the ugly quality of Spain that we talked about, which is a team that is capable of winning in multiple ways. And that's exactly what Thomas Tuchel is going to be able to give these guys. He sets up a team to be able to stump and also be able to take advantage of the opposition. It's like what you said, their best 11 is going to be the next 11. And that's what is needed in these kind of tournaments. You need to be able to ensure that guys can come in and out and that you can set up in such a way that's going to give you the highest probability to win that particular game. And he does that fantastically well. And he even said that when you look at the selections that he made of some key players like Cole Palmer not being in the squad, he said, we want to go with a team that is most well-rounded. We want to go with a team that can do various different things. We want to go with different profiles of players. We want to go with the players that can also give us things in set pieces. He's looking at every single element of the game, every single aspect of the game, and he took a squad that he believes, whether you agree with it or not, he took a squad that he believes that can be defensive when he needs to, counterattacking when he needs to, possession based when he needs to, dead ball specialist when he needs to, and he's made that very clear. And if there's a single manager along, and I think Scaloni is another one that can set up a team and a tactic and an approach to actually be able to give his team the highest chances of winning, it's Thomas Tuchel. And not only that, his in-game management as well is phenomenal. And believe it or not, that is sometimes even more important. The amount of times that we saw Scaloni almost throw away a lead with Argentina, I think every single game that he played in, he had a lead and he lost it because of his in-game management was insane. And that's not something that Thomas Tuchel has in abundance. But one of the things that he actually is trying to deal with, and he alluded to, is actually the bad part about England. And that's exactly what he's trying to address. And the fact that this is a team that lacks balance, especially of the middle of the park. And it's a team that seems to be very, you know, uh, top and right heavy, but very weak in the middle of the park, and also very much lacking on that left hand side. Not a lot of attacking talent there, not a lot on the left hand side of the defense either. Phenomenal down the right, where the fact that, some very controversial names got left out, but again, players that play off the right. On the left hand side, though, not a lot of options, and that is the bad about England, and that's going to be Thomas Tuchel's most difficult challenge.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think when I look at the left side, um, maybe even the second center back, because I feel like we all know like that game he's gonna start. So probably Konza will be like the other guy.
Yeah,
When you look at the left side, Javi, Anthony Gordon from Barcelona. I mean, I'm a Barca fan, so I would say like I'm happy with that signing. But he is a player that he's known for just pretty much being physical and he's pressing. He's
yeah,
not really known for being a game changer. Same thing
no,
for Rashford. He's a player that he's known just for his technical ability. He's very good on set pieces, but other than that, it's like, oh. Then you go to the left back, and it's gonna probably be Nico O'Reilly. I think we all sort of thought that Lewis Hall was gonna be like the one to start.
yeah,
He didn't even make the squad. I think that's gonna sort of like bite them in a little bit as well because like yeah, O'Reilly is great when he's pushing forward and he's driving to like the midfield. But like the moment that they played Spain and he has to go one on one with Lamine Jamal, how's that gonna look? So yeah, I completely agree with you. And even when you look at the 10, which I think we all, as of right now in the first game, I think we would all have Morgan Rogers starting. That's a player that when the big game comes, is he going to show up? I
yeah,
also have sort of like question there when it comes. Is O'Reilly gonna show up? Is Anthony Gordon gonna show up? Is Konza gonna show up? I know there's other players like Declan Rice, Kane, Saka, Reece James. Like these guys are gonna show up because they've done it time and time and time again. But these guys, do they have the experience? Do they have that? And I do agree with that when it comes to the balance of the team. He left a lot of people out, which like fair enough. Like he picked the guys that he thinks are best for his system and how he wants to set up in each specific game. But yeah, I just look at that left side, like you said, is that is not a left side that you want to be too happy about
no,
because Anthony Gordon, he's not gonna win you games. I'm sorry.
no.
Maybe he shows up and he's Neymar, but he's a player that he's known for being physical, being a good penalty
Yeah, he's
taker,
he's he's one of the
or
best
he's amazing.
pressing attackers in
Yes,
Europe. That's what the
I'm
stats show at
correct.
the very minimum. Yeah,
And then you have a left back who, yeah, when you play ball of position, he's gonna look great because he's gonna be able to push forward. But the moment he has to go out there and defend Olise or Lamine Jamal or one of these amazing like right wingers, it's like, oh, how are you
yeah.
gonna deal
It's
with
a
that? That's
long
where
day.
it gets, yeah, exactly. That's where it gets bad for them, in my
And
opinion.
for me, yeah, it's also something else because like as weak as that left side is, at least those players do a job and they do a role and they can hug the touch line and they can get themselves in the right areas of the pitch. And sometimes I'm a believer that's not about having the best players, but it's about have guys in the right areas of the pitch, right? They're going to have markers. They're going to, pull defensive players out of position, and just, as long as you make the right runs and you're in the right area, you're going to give the more key players and your better players time and space on the ball to do what they do best. But that's actually what concerns me about England, especially in the middle of the park. Because whether you play Morgan Rogers in the 10 or Jude Bellingham in the 10, none of those guys are actually creative midfielders that are going to be dropping in deep, collecting the ball, trying to get England out from the press. And when they go against some of these big teams like Spain or the Netherlands or Portugal that are going to have the entirety of the ball, who is going to be the one that's going to have to be dropping into the middle of the park to actually try to link up the play and give England a platform to actually go on the attack? It's going to be Harry Kane. And now you have the world's best striker who should be up top in the box trying to get that half chance that he's going to bury it top bins. He's now going to be playing in the middle of the park because there's not a single player of technical or creative quality that England possesses that can do that for them in the midfield. That is my biggest concern. And we saw a very, very similar thing with Bayern Munich when they were facing up against PSG. They were getting overloaded in the midfield, two holding midfielders, a 10 that is very, very attacking, no natural creative center midfielder that can actually link the play and he was forced to do that role, and ultimately he then couldn't get at the end of it when he needed to. That is what I think England's biggest struggle is going to be, and it's how he addresses that. And I
No,
don't
yeah,
know.
and that was a great point, like pointing out like the Bayern Munich thing. But we also have to keep in mind in the Bayern Munich side, even though he wasn't getting to the end, he was passing it to Luis Diaz and Olise, who are clearly better players than Anthony Gordon
Yeah,
and Bukayo
and
Saka.
Bukayo
So
Saka.
it's like like it's not one of those things where it's like, okay, like Harry Kane is dropping back, but I have a winger who backs 30 goals up there. So I'm gonna take my chance with that winger. It's like you have two wingers that combined, they probably don't even have 20 goals this season.
Nope,
I'm pretty
nope.
sure they don't have 20 goals this season. So that's where, yeah, I completely agree with you in that sense. That balance and the thing about the 10 is great. It's like fair play to you for pointing that out. These are tens that, let's be honest, they're both like strikers at this point.
Yeah,
These are guys that are just gonna run in and try to get to like second balls. These are not guys that are gonna drop back and lick up the play. They're not gonna help. Whenever those guys get overfloated in the midfield, like you said, against a Spain or Holland or Portugal, I wouldn't be surprised if he does something crazy where he literally just throws like Reece James in the midfield or somebody like that, and he plays with like another right back just so he could have numbers there. Because if not, it's gonna be a constant 4-B-2, and you're gonna have and
yeah.
Rice and Anderson there by themselves. So yeah, I mean, I think like the balance, it's actually something that he's gonna have to work on, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some type of goofy formation at some point just to try to make
And
up for that
that's
lack of balance.
and that's when the ugly comes in. Because when he makes the difficult decisions to address these imbalances, the disillusionment, the hysteria, the lack of a better word, the stupidity that comes from the English fans and the English media when it comes to the expectations of this team, the natural kind of, crap they're going to give him because of the fact that he's not English, and the amount of pressure that's going to be surrounding the players, Thomas Tuchel, his decisions, because of their inability to actually understand and to see that despite how amazing the Premier League is, England and English football as a whole do not have heritage when it comes to international tournaments, do not have a style of play that can compete with the big nations, nor do they have the technical quality, especially in the most important areas of the pitch, to even chat to these guys. Who is the pressure and the media and the bullshit and all the noise going to be surrounding is going to be Thomas Tuchel and the big moments players who are actually trying to do everything they can, and yet those are the ones that are going to make life a living hell for this camp. I don't see them getting behind him. I don't see them, especially when there's a game where they struggled and maybe they got over the line where it came down to some very difficult decisions. I can guarantee you, even in the group stage, if they're not looking as good as they need to be, the same old conversations. What Palmer would have given you if he was there, what Trent would have given you if he was there, what Phil Foden would have given you when he was there. All of those things are going to be constantly surrounding them, and that is just way too many distractions in what's going to be probably on paper one of the most difficult World Cups to win that I've seen in a very, very long time. So that's the
Yeah,
ugly for me.
yeah. I actually think that a lot of them are waiting for him already. Since the moment that he gave the squad, and a lot of these players are not like a lot of the players were not in the squad. They're waiting for him. That's just a fact. And like you said, they're gonna talk more about what could have been instead of what's actually in front of them. And yeah, like the moment that they struggle, the moment that anything happens, even if they win, they're gonna be waiting for him and talking about Trent, talking about Palmer, talking about Phil Foden. Which, to be fair, I feel like at least Palmer, like both and I, like both like you and I would have taken him, and he would have probably even started for us. But let's not get it twisted. Palmer was absolutely horrible this season, and he did not deserve to be in the squad. We would have
No,
taken him just because I don't know, because
of
we like
name.
him
He's a
and we
moments
because of his
player.
name, and he's a great moments player, but not because he deserved to be in it. And like you said, this is the ugly, and I feel like this has been the ugly for as long as I've been watching football. Like when it comes to England, the fact that they think that they have this right of just showing up to tournaments and winning because of it, and they say stuff like, "Oh, this guy should play just because he's great." For example, like the great example is Trent. Trent should not be close to the squad at all. Trent is awful.
Nope.
Trent is a bad player.
Nope.
So like the whole thing that Trent looked good on the club because Klopp is an absolute genius. Like we
Yeah,
need to get
it's
that out
because he
of our
had it's because
brains.
he had three people in the midfield that were constantly running and defending and tracking back for him.
Exactly, exactly. So Trent is
Yeah.
literally not a good player. He's like he takes a lot away from you. So and then Phil Foden the same thing. He's actually insane how he was player of the year a few years back, and this year, come on, like City had to go out there and buy a bunch of players and he just to play him over him. So yeah,
Yep.
like you said, I think that's definitely like the ugly, and it started already. It started like the moment that he gave out his squad, and it started also. I feel like a lot of players like Harry Maguire did not help at all. You see a lot of other nations where like big players stay home, and the first thing that they do is like just put a message of support. They always talk about how disappointed they are, but they always even if they don't mean it because they all have egos. At least for the cameras, like they say, oh, like I'm gonna support. I'm gonna be like one more, like bring it home. Then you have guys like Harry Kane, like Harry Maguire, pretty much talking about how disappointing he is and how
Before the World Cup
he
roster was even announced.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like how much he hates his life and all this stuff and how it's BS. I think the England thing is just a thing that is just something that's like within, and that's gonna be that. I feel like their biggest opponent is not going to be a certain nation. The United States feels that I just think it's just gonna be England itself and how a
Yeah.
lot of like their media and fans like
The
react to a
media,
lot
the
of the decisions
pundits,
that
the
he's gonna make.
fans. Yep, that's
Yes.
exactly right. Well, that's it for England. Let us know what you guys think. Are we making too much of the noise regarding, the English media, or has this been a persistent problem for a very long time and one that will continue to cost England, especially in this tournament? Would love to hear what you guys think.